this 12 by 12 wallet, because us scrapbookers, we like 12 by 12, don't we? And I thought that this wallet would be great for a number of reasons. It could, you know, be filled with, at the moment it's got, you know, the bits in that we've been making. So it's got my little mini book in, and it's got the scrapbook layouts, the 12 by 12 scrapbook layouts. They fit in really well. So this is about what's been happening in lockdown and, you know, the last few months. Evening, Jill, you are very welcome here. So you could kind of use it to keep things in. So if you're a scrapbooker and you've been on holiday and you want to keep all of your pages together and maybe some memorabilia, this is a way that you can do that. That was my thinking anyway. However, I know as a scrapbooker that when I go to a crop, it's quite useful to, you know, make up page kits for what I'm going to make, etc, etc. So I thought, well, we could use it for that as well. So if I'm working on a page, like I've tidied up my desk today. You'll be so proud of me. I have tidied my desk. Evening, Michelle. And on my desk I found a few things that I'd completely forgotten I'd got, like all good crafters. Evening, Glenda. And I found a scrapbook page that I started just after VE Day and never finished. So I wanted to keep all of that together. So what I could do is make a wallet like this, or have some to hand, and just pop everything in there so it's not lying around on my desk getting messy. You know, and then, you know, we can put these in, I don't know, crates or boxes or whatever, and I think they'd just be quite a useful way, you know, to store stuff. So that was my thinking. It's dead easy to make. It's stuff that scrapbookers are going to have around. It is simply 12 by 12 card. Hi Nat, hi Margaret. So what we're going to do is we are going to put it together, and the way that it works is that we've got these kind of like concertina bits here, these hinges here. I've used well, when we come to make it, it'll make better sense. Hi Sally, Sally Ann, hi Sadie, hi Jane. These hinges that I've done, you see an inch, because each of these bits that folds, that's ½ an inch. I'm going to make it with that inch sort of hinge, but if you want something wider, all you've got to do is add an extra ½ inch when we score. So if you want one that's 1½ inches wide, when we make all of these connectors, you just simply add on an extra ½ an inch. It is so easy, and you can make it to whatever size you like. You need two, at least two, you know, because just to kind of keep it flat. And it's easiest then if you want to keep it flat, you know, to do it in sort of like multiples of 2, but that isn't 100% necessary. Hi Mavis. So I don't know how well you can see this, because I think the camera's probably a bit close, but this hinge down here, you can make that as big and as wide as you like. So let's get going. What I want you to do first is grab a piece of 12 by 12 card. I tidied all of that up earlier and now I can't find that. I'm going to do mine in white so that it matches the rest of what I've been doing. And I'm going to cut my 4 hinges. And I'm going to cut these. They're all at 12 inches, which makes it super easy. And because I'm only having like 2 of the folds, I suppose you could call them, on the hinges, I'm going to cut each of my connectors at 2 inches. Okay, so I'm going to cut 4 at 2 inches. If you wanted it to be wider, you would cut 2 at 3½ inches or 4 inches, and just add in those extra ½ inches as we go. So let me start. So I'm going to start off by cutting 4 at 12 by 2 inches. Okay, so those are my connectors. All right, so I'm going to just put those to one side, and whilst I've got my trimmer out, I'm actually going to cut this front flap, and then we'll worry about the inside bits. So I need another piece of 12 by 12, and I'm going to cut that, and this is what I've left off the cutting guide for some reason, best known to myself. I don't know what I was thinking. You're going to cut that at 12 by 8 inches. Okay. Oh, just grab me card. So this is going to be 12 by 8 inches. And that is pretty much all of the cutting we're going to do. Nice and easy, this one. Now you need 2 more pieces of 12 by 12 paper. One's going to be the back, one's going to be the front, and we're going to cut a, you know, sort of like a bit out here so that we can easily get things in and out. And then we've got our flap and we've got our connectors. So what we'll do next is where we need to, we'll score. And the only pieces that we need to score on are these 4 connectors here. So I'm going to grab my scoreboard. Now, if you remember, we talked previously about ways that we can score if we don't have a scoreboard. So you can use one of those, I did have one earlier. I tidied it up, which means I'll never find it again. You can use a ruler and one of those ball embossers, you know, that you get on a stick, and just measure it, and then just use your ruler to, you know, to draw the line like you would with a pen. But obviously it's not going to be a pen, it's going to be that ball embosser type thing. You can use an empty biro. If you have got a more traditional trimmer like this one, you can see here that there's actually a groove where the blade goes in, so you can use that. Some of these, well, the Fiskars one for example, that does come, you can get it with like a black thingy blade here that's specifically for scoring, or you can just this is not going to work because this is only a short one, but you know, you can put, so we're going to, you know, score at 1 inch, pop that in there, and then I can use my bone folder or my embossing ball tool or whatever to use that and score down that line there. Okay, so there's one or two ways of doing it, so don't fret if you don't have a scoreboard. Okay, lots of ways to do it without. Right, so I'm going to score now on the 2-inch side, and when I say I'm going to score on the 2-inch side, what that means is that the 2-inch side is going to be at the top of my scoreboard, so that I'm going to score the long way down my connectors, and I am going to score at every 1/2 inch. So I'm going to score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1.5 inches. Okay, so what I've got now are my connectors with 4 kind of 1/2 inch gaps and 3 parallel score lines. I don't know how well you can see that on here. And we're going to do that exactly the same on every one of our connectors. So we're scoring on the 2-inch side, and we are scoring at half an inch, 1 inch, and 1.5 inch. Oh dear, what's the matter with me tonight? 1.5 inches. So scoring at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1.5 inches. The same on the final one. 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1.5 inches. Okay, right, that's all the scoring we need to do, so you can put your scoreboards or whatever you're using to score away. And now all I'm going to do just quickly is I'm just going to fold on each of these score lines and just burnish it down a little. Now, because it's 12 inches, it takes a little bit, you've got to be a little bit more gentle when you're first folding. The good tea tonight.
You'll find out later.
I'll find out later. Oh, okay. Fine. Okay, fine. So I'm just folding. I'll show you in a minute the way that I'm folding it in. And as time goes on with your wallet, these hinges will get softer and much more pliable and easy to move. Okay, so what I've done is I've folded it down the middle, and then I've folded these in as well. So you could say I've folded it into the middle. Okay, and that is my connector. So what's going to happen is we're going to put this on our 12 by 12 paper like that. Glue it on this 1/2 inch flap here, and that's what's going to form the connector that keeps our wallet together, and also, like I said, is expandable. So if you want one a bit wider, all you got to do is just keep going in 1/2 inch increments. What are you laughing at now?
Nothing.
What are you doing?
I'm doing.
What?
That's what you're doing.
I'm not doing anything. Yes, I'm being gentle, Liz. Have I missed something? Are you not being rude? Probably best I don't know. What with me being so innocent and all. Alright, so there's my connector. Okay? And I'm going to do that with all of them. Just fold them so that the fibres of our paper know where we want them to go. That's the paper making that noise. What's complicated? This book? It isn't. But what the heck are you got on? Just don't want to know. It's been a very trying day. I had to do proper work. I know. Right, okay, so I'm going to burnish that. Am I going to look back at this and go, oh my goodness. What you lot are going on about that I don't know?
Tea and biscuits.
Tea and biscuits. Do you know, somehow I just don't believe that. Right. Look, he's laughing behind me. I don't know what the heck you guys are doing.
I'm coughing, that's why.
You're coughing?
Clearing my throat.
Is that what it is?
There we go.
Yeah. All right, nearly there. Okay. Last one. Okay, right. So we've got all of our connectors done. So what I want to do now is cut out this little... Well, actually, Michelle, you're saying you started sighing a lot just like me. I got it off Mark. He used to come home from work and do it. I think he was doing it at work. It might have been at me. I'm not quite sure. Could be either. Evening, Gwen. Anyway. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, of course, you can fold it both ways, so that if you don't want that bit over the front and it's in the way, you just fold it round the back. Ta-da, magic. Right, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut out this bit. If you wanted to, you could just have a straight cut across there. However, it will look really odd with your connectors. But it's up to you how you do this. I don't even know what to call it. Hole? I don't know. This bit. So, grab a piece of 12 by 12. Mine's a bit bashed. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw and measure where I want this cut. So, it is 2 inches by 5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to measure in 2 inches from either side. And don't worry about the pencil marks because you won't see them, because we're going to turn this over and this will be our back. And we are going to measure 5 inches down. Okay? So you can either now use your scissors or a craft knife, or whatever you like. I found mine today. I found 2 today, which was quite spectacular.
You found 2 what?
I found 2 craft knives. When I tidied...
2 craft knives?
2 craft knives. Yeah, when I tidied up my desk. I did use them when you weren't here. Right, so I'm just going to cut that out. My safety ruler's downstairs on the coffee table. I don't know what it's doing there on the coffee table, but that's where it is. Okay. Cut that out. And that's going to be the front of my wallet. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I want you to grab the back page of your wallet, which is simply a piece of 12 by 12 as it is, okay? And what we're going to do is add the connectors all the way round to start with. So you need some glue. And I want you to put, because this is going to fold like this, so I want you to put glue on that first bit of card up to that first score line, and I want you to attach it to your 12 by 12 piece up to the score line, up to that first score line, and make sure that that is glued down really well. I'm not quite sure why this is... Oh. So this is...
Do you not use your trimmer to cut the apertures?
No, I'm hopeless. If it's got a corner in it, I can't do it. I'm useless. And anyway, I like to upset Mark by using a knife, so I use a knife wherever humanly possible. So I've got my first connector on, and I've glued it up to that first score line. So as you can see now, when we fold that in half, that's going to be our connector and our hinge there, okay? So we're going to keep doing that all the way round in exactly the same way. So glue, up to that first score line, and I'm going to glue that.
Who keeps pinking?
It's not me.
It's not me.
I don't know, it might be me. I don't think it's me.
Oh,
Like that. Oops. Hang on, let's get rid of me mat. I'm trying to hide the fact that I've really wrecked this thing that I'm leaning on. It's just getting in the way. Right, so next one. Glue up to that first score. Oh, too much glue. Glue up to that first score line. Not enough glue on that end. Get rid of that. And I'm going to line that up and pop that on the top. And glue that down up to the first score line. Right, last one. And exactly the same up to that first score line. And glue it down. Okay, right. Just burnish the inside a bit. Make sure it's all stuck down well. Okay, so what I'm going to glue on next is the flappy bit, okay? So, I'm going to put some glue on that end of my hinge, and it doesn't matter which you're using because they're all the same. So I'm just going to pop some glue onto that hinge. And we are going to attach the flap that goes around the front up to that score line, that first score line there. So what we've got is our flap and our connector showing those 2 half-inch marks, okay? So now you can see that when this is all together, that is going to be our flap, okay? So this is the front of the book and the flap comes over like that, right? So what I want you to do now is do exactly the same with this piece that we've cut out, okay? So just bear in mind that if you've got pencil marks, you're going to want the pencil marks to go on the inside. So it's going to be that way around. So I'm just going to add a bit of glue. On my connector up to that first score line. This is when it starts getting a bit unwieldy because obviously this is quite a big thing at the moment. Line that up and glue that down. Okay, so when we glue it together, whoop, it's going to be like that, okay? Super easy. And I've used 2 different shades of white cardstock. Not that it matters, but whatever. Okay, so what we've got to do now is attach these 2 connectors. So I'm just going to fold that down, glue, pop some glue onto that connector like that. And then line this up so that it meets in the corner and sits flat on that score line. Okay? I'm going to turn it round and do exactly the same on the other side. So I'm just going to fold down my connectors so you can see, so that they're flat, makes it much easier to do. Add some glue onto the front of my connector. And I'm just going to put that final piece on there like that and glue that down. Okay. Oh, I haven't done that very well. Never mind. It's near enough. Okay, so that is the wallet. It's as simple to make as that. So what you can do now is decorate it. Ooh. When you're decorating, bear in mind that you might want to cover this back bit too. So if I take mine out here, You can see that I've decorated in there, but I haven't decorated all the way down because I didn't want to waste my lovely paper. So I've only decorated where I can see plus a little bit, okay? When I'm matting, I will measure the size so I know that this is 12 by 8. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to tell you this in inches because I can't do centimetres. So when I'm cutting a piece of paper to cover, I will cut it at 1/8 of an inch smaller. So this is 12 by 8. I will cut it 11 7/8 by 7 7/8, if that makes sense. And that gives me just that little bit of white all the way around. When you what?
That reveal.
Oh yeah, that reveal. Yeah, you said that last night and I've forgotten already.
Reveal.
So I also like to cover the hinges as well. So we know that that is 1/2 inch, that width between the hinges. So 1/2 inch obviously is 4/8 of an inch. So I'm going to cut each of those at 12 by 3/8 of an inch. Okay. And I just think it just looks pretty if you, you know, finish off by, you know, by adding pattern paper onto the hinges, and then obviously I've done the same on there. But you don't need to worry about all the bits in here. You don't need to do any more decorating than that. So it really is that simple. I would love to see how you decorate yours up. I would love to hear if you've got any great ideas about how to you know, what other things you can use these for. That would be absolutely amazing to hear. And don't forget, when you've finished and you've got them all decorated, if you pop them up into the Falopalop week 3 album, and we're using the same one in Paper Scissors Story because, well, we just are. So if you want to pop it into the album in both groups, you will be in the running to win a Minibook Madness Ocean Blue pencil, and also there will be a Minibook kit as well from Mark and myself. So 1 more week to go. Next week we will be making that little wallet brag book, which will just finish off our little things. And I would love to hear from you guys if you are a scrapbooker and this is your sort of first foray into mini book making, because I'm hoping that I will be able to entice you into making books in Paper Scissors Story, because it's just another way of showing our memory keeping. So thanks guys, looking forward to seeing your mate. Oh my god, this is a quick class, it was only half an hour.
29 minutes.
Oh, should I talk a bit longer? Anyway,
You can.
I can, but nobody's going to listen.
You can.
So, yeah, put the stuff in the group, guys, and I will see you next Thursday. Thank you very much indeed. Now I'm going to go and find out what on earth you guys have been laughing at. See you next week.
Oh.